Nice.
In today's episode of the Pathmark Presents podcast, I have an interesting guest here with me today. I'm with Tracy Layden. She's heading over from Mogul as a Senior Global Acquisition Marketing Manager. And today we're going to be learning what Mogul is all about and how Tracy's thinking about, growth for the company, and a little bit about Tracy as well. As you guys know it, we love to learn a little bit about the marketers behind sort of all the strategies and insights. And that's what we're going to do today. So welcome to the show, Tracy.
Hi, Lucas. Thanks so much for having me.
Awesome. Give us, the 360 overview. What is Mogul all about?
Yeah, so Mogul's a global diversity recruitment company, and really it has three parts. There's the talent acquisition platform piece that helps recruiters source diverse talent. We also have a job board part of that. Then there's the community, where we have forums, career development events, networking events, mentorship opportunities for diverse professionals. And third is our executive search firm. And it's really an ecosystem where they all feed together. For instance, the community gets first access to board member roles, for instance. So it all feeds into itself.
Yep, very, very cool. Makes a whole lot of sense to use that sort of network dynamics. Super interesting. Tell us a little bit, sort of who are the clients of Mogul? Like who's benefiting from the business the most? And, how would you describe sort of a typical client of Mogul?
Yeah, well, everyone benefits from diversity. Studies show that companies that are diverse do better. Like racially and ethnically diverse teams perform 35% better than the competition. Gender diverse teams perform 15% more likely to have higher financial returns. So not only is it better places to work when a company is inclusive and diverse, it's just a better company.
Yep.
And so we help those diverse people both get jobs, as well as help recruiters who are using the same sourcing tools they've always used and don't have, want more people, want more diverse people, and don't want to be limited by anything like search limits, or, if you're sourcing from the same talent all the time, you're going to get the same sorts of talent. And with Mogul, you're reaching all of this underrepresented talent, these awesome qualified candidates that are, waiting for you. They just are here.
Yep, makes sense. Okay, cool. So I think we understand kind of what you guys are doing and how the dynamics are, at least on a high level, are playing out. Maybe tell me a little bit about how folks, especially, for example, from the B2B side of things, how do companies hear about Mogul? Like, what are sort of the key client acquisition channels that you guys are leveraging that you think are exciting?
Yeah, so we've been around since 2016, and really it's been product-led growth since then. So people try our product and they love it, and then they refer others to us. For people who haven't heard of us, I've heard people say like email marketing is dead. It's definitely not. We rely a lot on our cold outreach, and we work now with the Fortune 1000 fast-growing startups. And really it's those companies who are looking like fast growing, they just reached funding, they're ready to expand, that really are interested in adding their sourcing tools. And so that is the perfect opportunity for us to tell them about Mogul. And for the community piece, in addition to HR leaders, we host a lot of events where we have people, amazing people like the head of DEI at Snap or the head of talent at Amazon and Chipotle. They come and talk with our events. And we have HR specific events. So for people who aren't ready to buy the sourcing tool, they have a place to learn about DEI. And then there's the networking events adjacent to that. So that works for both attracting HR leaders as well as community members.
Very cool. You mentioned in a side note there, the email marketing is that sort of fact. Is there something that you learned about email marketing? Maybe one or two insights, maybe one thing that that surprised yourself, or that you found to be very interesting when it comes to what actually works for email marketing?
Yeah, I mean, specificity is huge. And because we work with every industry, we found that we need to talk differently to different industries. Construction versus a tech company have different views on how you source talent and what diversity looks like. Mm-hmm. A company may be ethnically diverse, but not gender diverse, for instance. And talking directly to them like, hey, you need salespeople, or you need salespeople in construction specifically. That specificity has really helped us.
Makes sense. Very cool. How do you think about the website? Like what role does the website play in people, getting to know, getting started with Mogul?
It's almost everything. It's how people find us. Yes, you can be told about the platform, but you have to have a landing page somewhere. And so our organic traffic is huge, especially on, Mogul terms, because they're figuring out how to find us.
Mhm.
And we have to educate them. A lot of companies that come to us know that they have a problem. They've maybe looked at their demographics and seen that they're out of balance, or they know they need more people, but they aren't sure where to get those people. And they come to our website and we need to educate them on why or how or what diversity, we can help them with. And
Mhm.
that's really like how we think of the website. It's a lot of education.
And a lot of marketers we have on the show, they're very critical with the website. Like, what would you say sort of is the major strength of the website versus where do you see the biggest room for improvement?
Yeah, I'll start with the latter. Because we have so many different pieces of Mogul, we have this community in these forums, which is a lot of the website. Like if you look at the amount of pages we have, it's a lot of the forum posts.
Mhm.
And so separating that, like the B2C side versus the B2B side, is the current challenge. We
Mhm.
want both to be accessible, but we need to funnel people to the right places when they find us,
Yep.
especially if you're searching for like a job board, for instance. Are you a recruiter looking to place a job listing, or are you somebody who's looking for a job? And so our job in optimizing the website is funneling those to the right places.
Yep.
That said, we are good at telling those people once they get to the site, this is what we do. Here's how you get in contact with us. And I personally a fan of Mogul's branding. Won't lie, purple and yellow are some of my favorite colors too. When I started, I was like, yes. But Mogul has a really strong brand and branding and everything surrounding that. And I think that's been a real strength of ours. It's Mogul when you see our assets.
Yeah, I love the entry sentence for the employees. Diversity recruiting solved. That is
Mhm.
straight to the point.
Thank you. Yeah, we want you to know exactly what we do right up front.
Very cool. Maybe one last question on the website before we moving on. Like, as a marketer, like how do you guys go about, figuring out why people do, let's say on the B2B side, the employer side, why they
Yeah.
do or do not sign up on the website? Like, how do you guys go about figuring out, what might be missing? Is there some methods, tools, insights that you could share for others?
Yeah. And that's the trick. I mean, when they bounce, and especially when you like watch them use the website. And that's a tool I use a lot actually is Hotjar.
Mhm.
It's great. I mean, from a consumer side, it's a little creepy, but it's also fascinating because you can watch people use the website, right? It's all anonymized, but you can see where people are clicking. They have scroll maps and you can watch them. And you can see where people hover and where they're interested.
Mhm.
And that tells you a lot of information. Like, why are people getting stuck on this form? Like they filled out half of it, but why did they bounce? You could see what errors they got. And that helps a lot in watching their behavior and optimizing from there. And we're also playing with actually just asking people, which is often the best way to find things, whether it be exit pop-ups or chat bots, those tools, say, hey, how can I help you? What is it? If you're not finding it on the website, can I give it to you this information in another way?
Very interesting. Very cool. Let's switch gears a little bit. We'd love to get to know you a little bit better as a marketer as well.
Sure.
There's so much content out there on marketing. You can go to heaps of reports and blog posts and tweets and all the likes. Where do you like to read? How do you filter with all the noise that's surrounding marketing content out there?
It's a good point. Well, email marketing newsletters are the latest hotness, right? I mean, you have Morning Brew, you have a lot of marketing leaders in the space with their own newsletters. Also, but in addition to like the blogs I've always followed, like, SEM Rush, Ahrefs, Moz, Demand Curve, there are some blogs that are just go-tos. But really, like whether it's LinkedIn's curation or I follow a couple of newsletters, I think curation is a big thing happening right now and also really important. Something that I want to do more with Mogul too, but also just in the marketing space is there is so much. How can you narrow that down? There's a lot of opportunity there for marketers to create like curated content. It's also how I find stuff
Yeah,
beyond, I have an issue and I'm looking at how to solve it.
yeah, very cool. To wrap it up, I have some rapid fire questions. You
Ready?
ready for those?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
What's the last book you read?
The last book I read was, Oh my goodness, what was it?
Or
The pit,
listen to?
the Pit Dragons, actually, a fantasy novel.
Mhm. What's one single thing that your company is focused on the most at the moment?
Well, we're focused on diversity recruiting and building out our platform to further focus on undeserved communities that aren't normally part of the conversation.
If there would be no boundaries in tech, what's the one thing you would fix for your role?
There are no boundaries in tech. Ooh, having like the ability to know how to make the website as optimized as possible. To
Mhm.
your point about knowing why people bounce,
Mhm.
being able to solve that, I mean, that's every marketer's dream.
What is the last thing that kept you awake at night about the company?
Mm. How to make internal processes more efficient. One of the things I've studied in my career is Kaizen principles in the
Mhm.
Toyota production system and lean production, whatever you want to call it. And so I have trained my eye to look for inefficiencies. And so when I run into one, like a roadblock, my brain goes on the meta level and says, okay, but why did this happen? How can we fix these processes and make this clearer? And so there are some, whenever I run into those, that's what my brain thinks about after whatever meeting it is.
And the last question would be, if today would be your very first day joining Mogul, what's the one advice you would give yourself?
Yeah, to have confidence in your abilities, that like they hired you for a reason. They saw potential in you, they saw the skills that you have to bring, and to trust yourself. Because especially moving from a larger e-commerce company to a smaller SaaS business, I mean, when you have a ton of data, you can do an A/B test and have it be statistically significant. When you're in a smaller company, you may not have that data and you have to go on directional data or your gut and your experience to know what to test next. And so having that confidence and relying on it's like, it's okay, you got this, test it. And if it doesn't work, that's fine. Go to the next thing.
Nice, very cool. Tracy, I really appreciate that you took the time with us today to be a guest on Pathmark Presents. I want to give you the very last word. If somebody would be forgetting all that we discussed about Mogul, what's the one thing they should remember?
Yeah, well, Mogul's a leading diversity recruitment company. If you're a diverse person or a company looking to hire a diverse person, you need to be on Mogul.
Thanks a lot for being a guest.
Thanks for having me. It's been really fun.